Okay, we'll start. Welcome to episode 12 of Zooming Conservation. Today we have today we have a focus on wildlife conservation effort. We are honored to feature Wildlife Trust of India and its esteemed CEO, Mr. Jose Lewis. Jose Lewis is a highly respected wildlife conservationist with over 15 years of experience. He specializes in wildlife crime prevention, capacity building for enforcement officials, and project management. Jose has significant experience in developing and implementing cutting-edge conservation technology and makes him pivotal figure in wildlife protection efforts across the country. He is also an expert on snake and snakebite mitigation, having founded the initiatives like IndianSnakes.org and IndianBees.org. Under his leadership, the Wildlife Trust of India has made remarkable strides in protection and preservation of India's rich biodiversity. Joseph's dedication to conservation, coupled with his innovative approach, has led to numerous that addresses critical issues facing wildlife in India today. Please join me in welcoming Jose Lewis to Zooming Conservation. Jose, it's an absolute privilege to have you with us today. We look forward about the inclusion done by Wildlife Trust of India and your insights on future of wildlife conservation in country. Now I'll hand over the session to you.
Thank you, Apurva. I hope my screen is visible.
No.
Okay, let me share the screen.
Yes, it's visible now.
Okay. So thank you, Apurva, for the kind words and introduction. And yeah, I'm very happy to join this online session talking about the organizations and its work in wildlife conservation across the country.
This conservation.
Okay.
Someone just unmuted themselves.
Yeah, so could you please keep other people muted?
May I request everyone mute themselves?
All right. So thank you, everyone. I don't know how many of you are participating, and I can only see my screen. So very happy to be here, sharing my experience with Wildlife Trust of India, and also talking about the organization, how we do various conservation effort across the country. So many of you know or may know about Wildlife Trust of India. So we are a 25 plus year old organization, started in 1998 by a small set of people who are very much deeply interested in the wildlife conservation and activities associated with that. And we have a very, very clearly defined vision, mission, etc. And as you can see, we strive towards securing the natural habitat of natural heritage of the country. And we work with, when we work with wildlife, when we work on wildlife conservation, we work with communities, we work with wildlife, and also we look at the welfare of individual animals. So very much aligned with the CICIDE principles and ideology that every animal is individual. And we have to ensure that every animal is also taken care of. We cannot just ignore, one animal for larger conservation thing. So also we work in association with the local community. So, in many of our project sites, it is, for example, the projects which are happening in Dudhwa or in Sundarbans, it is for the communities to reduce the human-tiger conflict. So we work a lot with communities and definitely with the governments, whether it is state government or central government or many other agencies, government agencies, not only Forest Department, but many other government agencies we work. So let me give an introduction again. So this is, as on today, we have more than 40 conservation projects across 23 Indian states. So if you look at it, the map, you can understand the breadth and depth where we work. We work most part of the country. And this map is not representing our pan-India projects. We train frontline forest staff across the country, or we associate with regional individuals who are grassroots level conservationists through our rapid action project. So this is what we call is the depth projects, or the WTI directly run projects currently. So we got more than 40 conservation projects. and it is diverse. So that's the strength of the organization. That on the top in Jammu Kashmir, we have a project Markhor, and if you look at in the northeast of India, we have got projects on white-winged wood duck, and towards Gujarat we have got a project on whale shark, and towards the southern tip we have projects on whale shark, and also we have projects on kandal. So it's a diverse portfolio. It is not just limited to certain species of animals or a certain set of animals or certain landscape. It is all over the country, and diverse set of projects. So I thought I will introduce the organization to the 9 big ideas which we work. So internally in WTI, we say that we work with an NGO heart, not for profit heart, but our brain works like a corporate, because we have to divide us into divisions and projects so that we have definite goals and plans, and we achieve results in our projects. So I will introduce our 9 big ideas in this session. So first one is mitigation. So we strive towards working across the country wherever human wildlife conflict is there, and demonstrate innovative methods, like whether it is forming PRT, primary response team, or whether it is using veterinary techniques to tranquilize an animal and capture it and relocate it to a safer place, or whether it is to behavioral changes with the community to ensure that there are certain practices are undertaken so that the human wildlife conflict is reduced. So this can be with any animal. It can be with the sloth bears, it can be with the tigers, elephants, leopards, or crocodiles, snakes, anything. So we work with communities, we work with the forest department to minimize and mitigate the damages to human life and also to wildlife due to negative human-wildlife interactions. A number of projects were undertaken by the organization in past 25 years. Currently, we got projects running in UP, Assam, and in Kerala majorly, and actually looking at human-wildlife conflict. Human-wildlife conflict is a very serious challenge these days. I don't say it's an emerging challenge anymore. It's a well-established, well-known challenge. A tiger coming out from its habitat to lift cattle, or a stray snake coming into somebody's house. Between this two spectrums, I mean, it's a wide spectrum of problems which we face in human wildlife conflict. You can see this is a tiger capture situation. So it is a volatile, difficult situation where probably the tiger must have killed people, tiger must have attacked people, and you have to ensure that the tiger is safely taken away from that location to a safer locations. So that's one thing about human wildlife conflict mitigation. So conflict mitigation is one of our big ideas. And then the other thing is rite of passage. So I thought I'll be using very clear to convey the message. Rite of passage. Many of us know about the number of elephants die on railway tracks across the country. Elephants do move across landscapes, and we have trains and we have railway lines going through, cutting across habitats in many parts of the country, whether it is West Bengal or Orissa or Kerala or Tamil Nadu or Uttarakhand. We have this issue there. And unfortunately, not only elephants, but other animals also get killed. So our rite of passage project is, there are components in the project, but one of the major activity which we have undertaken in the past and doing currently is to map the corridors, map the elephant corridors, and secure rite of passage to umbrella species, whether it is tiger or elephant, because you don't create exclusive corridors for a particular species. If you create a corridor for elephants, definitely tigers will use, leopards will use, other animals will use. So this is an idea of us that provide rite of passage flagship species in a landscape and facilitate the connectivity between habitats. The other one is wild lands. When I put wildlands, I have a photograph of a wetland. Like this is a photograph recently taken from our Kandal restoration project in Kannur, where the organization has actually secured land. We purchased Kandal forest from private owners and securing and treating it as land owned by Wildlife Trust of India for the sole purpose of conservation. And also we are working with, in this particular case, we are working with 3 panchayats to ensure that Kandal forest, so mangrove forests, sorry, I use the word Kandal because that is a local name, and our project is known as Kannur Kandal project. So the mangrove patches are protected by the communities. Not only in Kerala, but we have projects in Northeast where we work with communities to declare community reserve forests. So we work with communities, we handhold them, we support various conservation activities, and we ensure that they, in return and or in association, they declare community reserves, large patches of community reserves, which also can contribute towards the previous big idea, which is the rite of passage. These two projects are very much interlinked because we need land, we need a safe passage for animals to, and to facilitate the safe passage, we need secured land. So the wild land project is looking at, I mean, this is our big idea, to secure a large chunk of land outside the protected area system. So that's very important. We are not looking at protecting the protected areas further. We are looking at linking the protected areas, linking the already protected areas with acquiring or getting the community land for conservation, so that we can ensure connectivity, we can provide a habitat to wildlife. The other one is probably one of the most interesting thing. As you can see, these are gharial babies coming out of eggs. Now, we are working on various species, not only gharials, but we work markhor, we work on markhors, and we have we started projects on amphibians recently. But let me talk about some gharial project. This is in Gandak river in Bihar, where our studies and many other studies showed that the population is dwindling, and there is a need for immediate intervention. So that is when we started with this gharial recovery project under our species recovery program. So what we were doing is that we use the local community. We have our scientists there, we have a field biologists there, and they work with the local communities. They locate this nesting sites of gharials, and what we do simply is ensure that this nesting sites are protected from predators like feral dogs and also humans, because human activities can actually damage the nests, and also possible soil erosion. If there is a possibility of soil erosion, then we may have to move the eggs to a safer location and ensure that they hatch. So once they hatch, we don't look after, we ensure that this animal goes back to wild, and we look, I mean, we monitor this for some time and allow the mother care, or if they are reptilians, they will survive on their own. So this is a project where we are ensuring that the number of animals in a natural ecosystem increases. There is no captive breeding as of now under our projects, but definitely yes, there are other projects in that landscape where animals are bred in captivity and then released in the wild. We are also with the collaboration with the Bihar State Forest Department, we are looking at the possibility of setting up a captive breeding facility probably. So maybe that is something which, as this is a CSID managed show, I think this is something which I will come to CSID and discuss on a later day. Then Wild Aid. So this is our extension program that, as a conservation organization, we may not be able to reach across the country, with our projects. So what we do is that we get in touch with, regional individuals. There are individuals who are working on various conservation issues at grassroots level. It may be rescuing animals from the trader and releasing them back to wild, or implementing a simple small solution to address an emerging wildlife conservation issue. Or for example, I remember a project in West Bengal. They wanted to safeguard a small population of turtles in a temple pond. So, supporting those kind of projects. So this is a kind of an outreach project where WTI partner with regional organizations and individuals to conduct conservation programs. These are small, short-term, quick, effective interventions by which we achieve small but very impactful conservation goals. And some of these activities actually paved way for a future conservation project, larger conservation projects. So this we do across the country. And definitely natural heritage campaigns. We have to educate our next generation of conservation champions. Whether it is school children, you can look at these school children. These are from images from our Gaj Yatra programs, where school children are educated about elephants. Very, very much needed and very much impactful in areas where human wildlife conflict is there, or where people share the same habitat with wildlife around. So educating children, educating elders, educating community about conservation challenges, and bring in changes. I mean, we don't do, say that we just went and did a small workshop and came back. No, we have a very structured approach here when we do campaigns. We do a pre-campaign survey. We understand what is the problem and what is the perception of people, and then a set of experts analyze it and say that, okay, if you want to change the perception in a positive way, then we may have to do this. Z, they give a list of things and how to do it, and then we implement the project. Probably one of the best example is the whale shark conservation project, which we have initiated a few years back in the Gujarat coast, where whale sharks were getting killed for the oil. And it was a community initiative. It was a campaign which actually stopped the killing of the whale shark. It was not an enforcement led activity which sorted the problem. We got the same fishermen folk catch whale shark and kill it, which interestingly they used to call it as barrel, because when they see a whale shark, it's a huge fish, so they cannot get it in a net. What they do is that they harpoon it and attach an empty barrel which is airtight and to it. So the harpoon will keep on pulling the animal up to the surface, and the barrel will give the location of the animal. Once the animal is dead, then they can safely pull it to the shore. So this was actually Mr. Mike Pandey made a movie, or made a documentary on this Shores of Silence in early 2000s. And WTA followed that. We said, okay, fine, let us work with the communities. So campaigns are very important. So what happened there? The community leader, like Morari Bapu, who is a religious leader of Gujarat, he came and supported the project, and he came out to this beautiful thought process, saying that the whale shark is actually your daughter-in-law or your daughter. They call Valley, who is coming back the shores of Gujarat to give birth to cubs. And that actually resonated with the community. The community immediately, took it, because they could relate with the animal. They could relate with the emotion of a female coming to her parents' place to give birth. And Morari Bapu said, oh, how can you kill it? That really worked. I mean, you could arrest the people, you could stop them from doing it, but that's the strict, strong hand of law enforcement. Here, it was the soft hand of religious preaching, and also working with the community at multiple levels, which actually resulted in successful community ownership of whale shark in the region. And it's a very successful project, and this model is now replicated in Kerala, Karnataka, and we're trying to expand into other areas where fishermen who face the damage of broken nets are releasing whale sharks back to the sea, saying that we should not be killing it. Whale shark is a protected species under the Wildlife Protection Act, but getting the community support was very important. So that kind of activity happens through the natural heritage campaign. So now, in the recent years, we are very much focusing on the elephant-related campaigns, which is the Gaj Yatra and Gaj Mahotsav and all, where we talk about elephants, human-elephant conflict, and the need of rite of passage for elephants across the country. Peer recovery programs, another interesting project, actually, another interesting challenge, long-term project of the Wildlife Trust of India. We work with Kashmir Forest Department, Jammu and Kashmir Forest Department. We work in habitat recovery and PA recovery in Kashmir. But here I would like to talk about Manas, where we are working with the community for a very long time. As we all know, Manas had a very troubled and turbulent past. Uh, the entire landscape was affected by extremism. Wildlife was given least priority because of conflict issues, and populations of rhino and elephant, which was wiped out by the militants, because as we all know, rhino horns and ivory actually help them to secure funds for arms, ammunitions, and other kind of operational help. So after decades of conflict, there was peace, and there is a Bodoland Territorial Council which is looking after the Manas area in association with the State Forest Department. I mean the state government, Assam government. So now there is peace, that people came back, but what about the wildlife in that area? What is left? Probably no rhinos, probably very few elephants. So we started working with the Assam Forest Department, and also with the Bodoland Territorial Council, also with the community, also with scientific community and other organizations to support the efforts of government agencies to bring the PA to back to its past glory. Probably we may not be able to bring it fully, but what all things we can do? For example, restocking that area with rhinos. So these are our rhinos which were released back into Manas from our rescue center, which I'll talk about it a few minutes later. So we rehabilitated rhinos, we rehabilitated elephants, and also we are working with the community. We are working in providing alternate livelihood. We are working about with the community on conservation awareness. We are undertaking campaigns. Also, recently, there was an addition to Manas. The Raimona National Park was declared, where the organization worked with the local community, local administration, political leaders, religious leaders, and community leaders to ensure that a large patch of forest is declared as a national park. It's a big conservation victory, because today's world, what we need is inviolate protected areas to conserve wildlife. So this we consider as one of our major achievement, that we were partner in along with the other agencies and government to declare an extension or additional area for the Manas Tiger Reserve or Manas National Park. So this is a very lovely photograph from Manas, where the rhinos are undergoing the rehabilitation process. And the other one which we work is, personally, I'm also involved in this, is the enforcement and law, the wildlife crime aspects. I don't think I need to explain to any of you who are sitting in this online session about the challenges of illegal wildlife trade we face. Look at the photograph of the leopard, which is got caught in a classic leg hold trap by a professional hunter. If it is not rescued, this will become commodity in the market. It will be like chuggawala chadar, or the spotted blanket for a trader, and the bones will be traded as lakdi in the illegal market. So we work across the country, especially with the Wildlife Crime Control Bureau and State Forest Department, to counter illegal wildlife trade, whether it is lesser known species like monitor lizards, or horses, or spiny tail lizards, or if it's organized trade about tigers or leopards or elephants. The organization, I must say that the organization was very successful in this field of assisting enforcement agencies. And I remember people like Mr. Ashok Kumar, who is no more, who actually initiated the fight against illegal wildlife trade in India, then forest officials. So we follow the footsteps, and now I'm very happy to say that my team is involved in cyber wildlife crime management, and also we are developing systems for the forest department. That's, I think, something which I should not forget. Should tell that we have developed wildlife crime management systems for the state forest department, which is successfully implemented in a couple of states and expanding. So multiple ways of supporting forest departments in fighting wildlife crime across the country. Finally, I would like to talk a little bit more about the wild rescue, because I hope and I suppose many of you who are sitting here are from zoo background, or must be interested in rescue and rehabilitation of animals. So this is one of our strong areas and one of our oldest running projects, oldest running big idea, where we look after the welfare of displaced individual animals. I think if you remember about my remark about individual animals in my opening slide. So we look after these individual animals. As you can see, this is an old picture, not too old, in one of the recent years flood in Kaziranga. That's a rhino calf which is getting rescued and shifted to a safe location from the waters. It's very important for that animal to survive, and unless and until you rescue this animal from the floods and a second chance to survive, we may not be able to save it. And we are looking at a large number of animals to be rescued. This is our goal, that we should save at least 40,000 animals, but we are almost there. We are nearing our goals. We rescue a large number of animals every year. So currently we got 4 running projects under the rescue. We got a fully operational rescue center in Assam, a rescue and rehabilitation center. Got another rehabilitation center specifically for bears in Arunachal Pradesh, which recently I was looking at the numbers. We managed to rehabilitate more than 50 Asiatic black bears into wild. I mean, these were bear cubs which came to us, hand raised them, looked after them, weaned them away from the handlers and human beings, and converted them into wild animals, real wild animals, and sent them back to wild. And we got veterinary unit, Vets on Wheels running project in Simlipal Tiger Reserve and Keonjhar in Odisha. And as I mentioned earlier, we also got a network of volunteers across the country, which is known as the ERN network, Emergency Relief Network, which is across the country. Talking a little more about the wild rescue part of it, about CWRC, where it's probably the only one of its its facility in the country where an injured animal to this facility, whether it is like a hatchling, a fledgling of a bird, or it is a leopard cub, or it's a rhino calf, or an elephant calf, or a clouded leopard. It all comes to CWRC, and they get medical care. They get a chance to learn the skills on their own, definitely, and assisted learning, probably I should say. And finally, our aim is to send them back to wild. The motto of wild rescue is back to the wild. Every animal, we try to ensure that every animal which we rescue goes back to wild. So that's the idea. And the success is, so when you talk about those things, you should talk about the success, of course, and also some challenges we face. I think that's in the coming slides. So the numbers are here in front of you. The elephants, we have sent back 29 Asian elephant calves who came into the rescue center, and they went to Manas, and they are living as wild elephants. I mean, they are not with us, or they are not transferred to a lifetime care center, but we are giving them a chance to survive in the wild. In the organization's point of view, and in our ethics, every wild animal which is rescued has a chance and an opportunity to go back to wild and survive. In some case, we may not be able to send it back to wild because of various reasons. If it is to be released or rehabilitated back into wild, then only we don't do that. Otherwise, 100% effort, 100% attempt is done to ensure that this animal goes back to wild. So 29 calves is translocated from CWRC to Manas. And probably another big success is the rhinos. Um, 21 rhinos, which were predominantly or mostly rescued from the Kaziranga National Park, um, um, are rehabilitated back in the wild um, in Manas. And the success is from this 21 rhinos which we send back to Manas, they produced 11 more calves. So we look after our rhinos and we see that how they grow. And having these animals reproducing in the wild is definitely a satisfying result for us, that we completed the cycle that our rehabilitation. So I think in one case, um, a rhino, a calf which we rescued and rehabilitated back to, released back in Manas, produced an offspring, and the offspring also produced an offspring. So the rhino which we released is now a grandmother. So that's a success when you send these animals back to wild. And this is, please remember that this is also helping conservation activities in the park, that you are getting a chance of getting new animals, you are restocking your animals, and also it is helping the local tourism. I mean, people are coming there, local community is getting benefited. So all this thing is happening because of the back to wild effort of the organization. CWRC, yes, now in 2024, as we speak, we are towards the fag end of the flood challenges. So this is our latest addition to our rescue facility. There are elephant calves coming in. We got 3 elephant calves which were displaced or isolated from their mothers due to flood. Some of them come with injuries, some of them come in dehydrated conditions, some of them come with diseases. It's very hard to treat them and bring them back to stage and assist them to go back to wild. It's a long, lengthy, resource hungry effort to animals back to wild. There is I mean, I really admire the dedication of this keepers and veterinary doctors who work in our centers to ensure that these animals goes back to wild. 2 rhino calves. This is one of the rhino calf which we rescued. This is a photo during the rescue operation. You can see how the animal is stranded in high waters, and we definitely need to rescue this animal from the flood. And this year, of 107 animals which were rescued from the flood, and out of that we managed to release 76 animals. Some of them come with injuries, road accidents, because there is a highway going through. Road accidents happen. Sometimes these animals, due to flood, they stray into villages. The feral dogs or the stray dogs attack them, chase them. Sometimes even people who think that they should capture this animal and hand it over to the rescue center do wrong, apply wrong methods to capture these animals, that result in serious injury and death of the animal. Anyway, that is how it is in the wild. But our efforts ensured that a large percentage of this animals which were affected by the flood is released back to wild. These are some images. So we got otter pups also. I think unfortunately we lost one pup already because there was a bad infection. The doctors could not, look after it. But also I would like to, bring your attention towards the keepers, who are actually the unsung key heroes of our conservation efforts. They work day and night, playing the role of mother, father, and protector of these animals, orphaned cubs. But at the same time, knowing that one day they have to, say bye bye to these animals, they are going back to wild as wild animals. So it's a process. It's a lot of dedication by the people and the support staff and the support system to ensure that these animals getting a second chance to life. And this year we initiated trainings for the flood response also. But in the past, we have trained veterinarians and biologists across the world to deal with wildlife emergencies. this year especially, we got a lot of local volunteers, local community members coming and, pardon me, and part in our rescue efforts, so that the community is able to inform us about stray animal incidents, and also community is able to provide a safe passage to animals, because rescue is the last thing. If you can actually provide a safe passage to the animal to move to the higher ground, especially in the flood situation, we do that. If that is not possible, if that is completely unavoidable, then only, I mean, if that is completely not possible, then only the rescue will happen. During this year flood, there were a couple of tiger incidents where the tiger was stranded, and there was no immediate release or immediate escape route for the tiger. The park director Sonali Ghosh and our team ensured that, and the forest department staff ensured that the tiger is not disturbed until the water levels are receded, and then the tiger went back to wild, I mean, to its natural habitat. So rescue is not always needed. Rescue is needed only when it is absolutely, there is no other option for the animal other human intervention. Otherwise, we ensure that we provide a safe passage to the animals. I think that's a quick view about Wildlife Trust of India and what we do. And for any further information, please get in touch with us. You can scan the QR code, you can download a brochure. And I think I'm open for any questions if you have.
Thank you. That's really nice session. I request participants, they can either unmute themselves and ask a question, or they can write it in chat box. Till then I can take some questions. So basically, what inspired you to get into this career of wildlife conservation and get involved with Wildlife Trust of India?
Well, that's a very difficult question you are asking. Well, I say that I was always interested in wildlife conservation or wildlife in my childhood, and I had no clue. I mean, I'm from a middle class family, and like many other parents, my parents want me to do some decent study and find a job. Unfortunately, the wildlife bug was always there, so I was into IT for some time, and then I switched my jobs. In my father's words, I wasted all the money which he spent and became a snake charmer to begin with. So that is how I started my career rescuing snakes. And then I got into Wildlife Trust of India. I met Ashok ji during a workshop. And probably the wildlife crime was always fascinating, and got into that. And here I am after about 15, 18 years working in the field of wildlife conservation as a profession. I don't think I have much more to talk about it.
Since you're entitled as Chief Enforcement Officer, what are the biggest challenges that you may explain in the field of wildlife crime right now?
The emerging, or I don't say the word emerging, the online market, online illegal trade of wildlife goods is becoming a major challenge. And also India becoming a destination for a lot of illegal wildlife products. I mean, in the sense, live animals, especially reptiles, which are coming into our ecosystem, which is a major challenge for us, because these are live animals which can escape from captivity and can colonize or can establish in our natural ecosystems. We already have examples of red-eared sliders and alligator gar found in freshwater bodies. In my opinion, that is the biggest challenge, that one of the biggest challenge. There are many other things, but if you ask me to pick one, I'll pick the challenges of the exotics coming into India.
Okay. Can you discuss some of the innovative conservation technologies that WTI has implemented?
Well, we have initiated a few things, but I think the hostile activity watch kernel Hawk, which we did as a pilot project in Kerala, is probably one of the best technology initiatives we have came across with, or we developed. This is a total information management system, criminal information management system, and a procedural management system, and also a repository of information about wildlife death, wildlife criminals, status of cases pending in court, etc. So Probably that is the biggest technological, uh, technological achievement we have done. And I should say thanks to COVID, because 2-3 years sitting home and doing nothing much in the field, we were able to develop the system in such a way that it can manage a lot of data, and it is completely the system is running in the state of Kerala since 2020. The entire state is running the system, and now we have initiated in last 2 years we are working in Karnataka. It will take one more year to fully implement it. And of course, we have got a sign up with the Tamil Nadu Forest Department to implement it, and a couple of more states are coming. So that's a very satisfying technology intervention which we have undertaken.
And now, since you're saying that one technology is able to gather all the information at one place, how it enhances the effectiveness in the field for wildlife conservation? Specific
See,
outputs.
So data is very important, whether it is regarding wildlife crime or wildlife conservation. Data is important, and personally, I'm a strong advocate of centralizing data and giving access. So you should not be hoarding data. You should collect data from various sources, put it together, so which may help you to understand more about the situation. Because, for example, I may be dealing with wildlife crime data. Somebody else will be dealing with environment related variables. Somebody else will be looking at disease ecology. So if you put all this data together on a shapefile of a tiger reserve or a protected area, you may be able to understand a lot more about what is happening there. So this kind of data will help you to take learned decisions, management decisions, and make plans for future conservation, and also will help you to utilize the resources meaningfully and wisely, and reduce human efforts, because instead of spending a lot of time managing Excel sheets, automated systems can give you a lot of results directly. But I must also say that nothing will replace that forest guard walking in the forest.
Also, you have one of the successful project of snares I had heard about
Yeah, we work
with communities.
with community to remove snares, which are silent stranglers and killers, which is very happily, this is adopted and implemented by many states. The methodology of using community members to remove snares. So we actually use the same people or same community who put snares to remove snares.
So last session was on World Snake Day with Kedar Bhide. He had mentioned about your Indian Snakes app of Serpent.
Looks
is
like
also
you
one
have
of
done
the
a lot of homework about understanding what we do. Yeah, that's a personal initiative of developing some technology so that people
That is
can.
one of the technologies that is out.
Yes, that's again a technology thing. And in fact, while I was waiting for this session to start, today I think I answered 5 queries of people asking me to identify a snake because they have a snake in their backyard. No, it's very simple. You can use the app, or you can take a of the snake and send it to us, send to me using the app, or an expert. Somebody will identify the snake and help you with the identification. So this could be today one case was about a snake bite. So they wanted to identify what snake it is. It may not be absolutely necessary, but yeah, these are ways of how technology can help in conservation.
What has been your most rewarding experience in the field of conservation?
I'm yet to have it.
Participants, if there are any questions, you can pitch in.
If there are any further questions.
I don't think so. There are many questions from participants.
There are questions. I could not see any questions. So show chat. Yeah, I don't think there are any chat questions.
Can we proceed with your permission? Can we proceed to vote of thanks then?
Let me thank you and the CSEDA for giving this opportunity to Wildlife Trust of India, and looking forward to work with CSDA in definitely in our projects, because we do interact and associate with CSDA in our projects. So thank you for all that support and guidance from time to time from Central Authority. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So as we conclude the session of Zooming Conservation, I would extend an heartfelt vote of thanks to esteemed guest, Mr. Jose Lewis. Jose, your insights to this challenging wildlife conservation in India has been incredibly inspiring. Your dedication to prevention of wildlife crime and developing conservation technologies and engaging with the communities is truly commendable. We are grateful for the time that you have taken to share the extensive knowledge and experience with us. Once again, thank you, Jose, for a remarkable session. Your contribution has made impactful changes to our participants. Thank you.
Thank you, Apurva.
Yes, there. I was just checking the chat box. So there was one more thank you from Marvin.
Oh, okay. Marvin is a good friend. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.